What's up, everybody? This is Katrina from In Cat We Trust, and this is my very first interview for 2022. And I have with me Eris Spiral. How are you today?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm good, thank you. So, one, thank you for coming on and being interviewed. So I'm always very grateful for anybody who agrees to come on the podcast. So thank
Thanks
you for
for
that.
the invite.
So as somebody who's dabbled in multiple things over the years and always changed her mind on things that I'd like to do, I'm always curious as far as people taking the path they do for their career choices. So what was it for you that you was like, aha, I want to step into a wrestling ring and wrestle?
So I actually started out as a photographer.
Nice.
And I was ringside and stuff like that. And I was friends with a few of the wrestlers, and I was helping behind the scenes. And then I met my husband, Eris Spiral, and he kind of is one of the reasons why I kind of was able to push forward into going to training and stuff like that. And then the rest was history.
Nice. So how long, you said you did photography, so when did you start like taking pictures professionally? Because you can take pictures on the phone, but it's
I actually went to school for it.
Oh, nice. What school did you go to?
It was called Briarcliff. It actually no longer exists because they decided, oh no, we're closing. But I actually have an associate's in applied science, which is just a fancy word for graphic design, and then a bachelor's in the fine arts, but specializing in photo manipulation and photography. Nice. So I've been doing photography since 2011, so over 10 years.
Nice. So are there any favorite photographs you've been able to take over the years before you got into the wrestling aspect?
So I used to go do photos at Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey during Fright Fest. And I used to do their big concert called Dead Man's Party. And that was where I learned how to take photos of action shots and pyrotechnics and stuff like that, because they would have day shows and night shows.
Yeah.
And I'm actually self-taught. Like I literally would play around with everything and figure out, okay, here's how to do this. I literally self-taught myself the whole thing. And then when I started doing action shots and I got introduced with wrestling, I took what I learned from that and went with the wrestling for a while. I did photography for wrestling, I want to say for about 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just did it as kind of like a freelance kind of thing.
Nice. That's cool. That you like. I think it's cool for people not to talk photographs anyway, but to do it self-taught is like even more awesome because you gotta like kind of push yourself to kind of get to where you want to get to. So would you say transitioning into wrestling and training was really hard to do once you were in the ring?
Oh my God, still in my head, I'm like, oh, that would have made such a great shot. Literally in the middle of a match, as I'm watching the videos, I'm like, no, the camera should have been there. Even in the middle of the match, I would have been like, oh, that would have been such a damn good shot. I still do it.
I feel like that's because I'm a writer, and so sometimes I'll see things, I'm like, oh, this probably could have been changed here and make it a little bit stand out a little more. So I totally understand, like just kind of always having that in the back of your head when you're doing something else. So that's pretty cool. So is there any matches that you have done that it's like matches that you would love to do again, or some of your favorite matches you've done over the years?
Oh man, that's always hard to pick. Okay, so for those that actually like follow me and stuff like that, they know I've gone against men and women. And I know this is going to sound super, super cheesy, but I'm not just saying it. One of my favorite matches was with my husband and I, where we just went balls to the wall. It was one of our last matches before we got married. And no one knew I was his opponent. And we had this planned for, I want to say, almost 2 months. And everybody's reaction was just so funny. And there's clips flying around of it, but it was just so funny because people will see him super kick me in the face, and they're just like, why would you let him do that? But any matches that I usually do with my husband are like personally, like my opinion, my best ones, because I guess it's more just I feel more comfortable. Another match that I've done is with ACPW, where I went against Riley Crow. And I actually accidentally broke her nail that day. and we still laugh about that because she literally baseball slide and somehow landed under my foot, and I came down and broke the nail, and she had just gotten them done. And I was like, well, that's a sign to get your nails redone.
I think that's pretty cool that you get to work with your husband in general, and just like, even if you're tag teaming or you're just kind of standing across from each other in the ring, just to kind of have that experience because you both love to do it. But just to kind of, I feel like it's like a way to push each other to be better in a way, just like kind of give the audience something to look forward to in a situation like that. So that's pretty cool. I like that.
Oh yeah, like there's matches on, like right now we're working with LTW, which is Lock Target Wrestling, which is in South Jersey. We're on the YouTube show GTS, and a lot of our matches are on there. And people will literally, the comments are just so funny because they're just like, doesn't that count as domestic violence? And we're like, no.
Yeah, in this situation, definitely not. This is something you both are just like, let's let it all hang. I love it. Absolutely love it. So I saw you recently was on the PWI 500 list.
Oh yeah.
And I believe you was 435. If I'm hoping getting that right. I believe
somewhere around that. And honestly, I had no idea about that until someone had posted a screenshot on another wrestling friend of mine's page, and I saw my name and they put the main name, but I was like, wait, what the hell is that? And I looked and I see my name and I was just like, okay, I'm showing face now. Okay. Like, I wasn't expecting that at all, because that's now the second or third time I've been featured in something within the past year. Like, I was featured in an article about LGBTQ wrestlers because I publicly came out last year.
Yes.
And that was a big thing. And now the top 500, and then there was something else recently, I believe, or I'm thinking, oh no, I was on another list. And they had me at like, oh my God, I don't even remember what number it was, but it was another like top certain number of wrestlers. And I was there, and it was like, I believe it was the top LGBTQ wrestlers. And I was like 100 and something. And I was just like, what am I doing?
I mean, that's great. I got a little privy to the 500 list because of one of the sites I do hosting and media stuff for. And so we got to see the whole 500, and it was pretty cool because there's quite a few names that I actually recognize. So I'm like, oh, this is amazing to kind of see, you know, of course, the people that everybody knows, but then you see indie people that you've seen at shows at some point, and it's just really like exciting as a fan to see that. So how did you feel like seeing that as far as making the like best 500 women wrestlers right now?
I was honestly shocked because I'm that person where, like, I'm an anxiety person. I have very bad, severe anxiety. So I always think, oh, I'm not the best. I'm not going to make it on this list. I'm not going to do this. Not going to be featured on that. But then I see my name and I'm just like, first off, why? And then secondly, it's like more just trying to figure out how it happened, if that makes sense. Because I'm that person with low self-esteem and stuff like that. But when I see something like that, it just kind of gives me a little confidence boost because it just shows that I'm doing something possibly right in this business. And it means a lot. Like, when I saw the 500 one, I was actually at my shoot job, and I was just like, wait, what? And then I messaged my friend that was also on the list. And I was like, what list is this? And she told me it was Belle of the Bells. And I was like, what? And then I see the list and I see so many people, many amazing women and people that I've gone and shared the ring with on this list. And it's just amazing because it shows the variety.
Yeah.
And I guess I grabbed someone's attention.
Well, that's really awesome. I with you with the anxiety thing. That's another issue I too have, where I always like very doubtful about things. They're all like, I don't take compliments too well, and so totally understand how
Oh my
that
God,
feels.
I'm the same way.
It's really hard for me to like. If compliments are nice, but I never believe them until I'm like, yeah, I don't really believe that you said it. But
Oh
thank
yeah,
you.
just nod your head yes and say thank you.
Yeah, it's so hard for me to take compliment because I also really anxious and always like doubting stuff. So I totally like relate and understand. So I wanted to say first, congratulations for publicly coming out. I know that can be like an issue for a lot of people. Just in general to friends or family for a reason. And so it's always nice, at least on my end, I had family come out and it's always like I was one of the first to know, and I'm like, well, nothing changes. Like with it, you live your life the way you need to live your life. And so how was that as far as publicly, and that, I guess saying that for everybody, how was that for you to kind of let that out publicly?
I had a major panic attack before I even made the public post. But I came out as bisexual publicly. There were certain people that knew. Like one of the first people that I came out to, like that I actually felt comfortable, was my husband.
Yeah.
And I was so scared of his reaction. And he goes, okay, Anne, not like I don't love you any less. But then I don't know why. Just I feel like with everything that happened within the past year with COVID and stuff like that, plus the fact that at the I actually started going to therapy to work on my mental health and stuff like that, which is super important, especially in this business. I talked to my therapist and I talked to my husband, and I was like, I really am thinking of coming out publicly, coming out to my family, coming out to just, I don't know, just to kind of just wanted to get this weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
And then when I did it, actually one of the funniest things was my mother, she goes, okay, what does that mean for you and him? I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, you're not leaving him? I was like, where the hell did that come from? And she's like, what does he think? And I was like, he's known. And then like I had some people who, obviously people being people, didn't agree. But it's like, okay, why is it that I need your permission? Like I actually had a fallout with some family members, and actually I had some fans come at me. And all I said was, I was like, I don't need your blessing. I don't need your permission to be me.
Yep.
And I'm already a big advocate for anxiety, depression, mental health, suicide awareness, and just, I felt like I wasn't being my true self. And I was like, I need to do this. And I actually picked, obviously, the first day of Pride Month. I actually wore a bisexual shirt to work. And I was like, and I had been talking to my coworkers who were close friends of mine. And I was like, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to do it. And they were 100% supportive. So was my husband. And the next thing you know, literally, I think it was not even a few hours later or the next day, I got featured on that LGBTQ one. And I was like, wow, that was quick. But I just felt like I wasn't being my true self. And I felt like as soon as I made the public post, it felt like a weight was just lifted off of my shoulders. So that was just another big thing that I was very proud to do. And I had a great support system, like LTW was a big support, GTS, big support, and a lot of my wrestling friends and even enemies were even like, hey, super proud of you. So it
Yeah,
was a big thing.
I definitely, I'm glad you was able to do that. I'm also a really big advocate for mental health, just because I feel like, it was, I mean, I don't know exactly where your age range is, but like for me being like early 30s, like we had
We're
stuff
about the
going
same
on.
age.
Okay, great. So like, like there was stuff happening when we were younger, but I feel like social media kind of made things, maybe like it's good. You get to get introduced to people and contact people that you would have never been known before without social media. But then also social media can be like that double-edged sword sometimes, because I feel like a lot of that unfortunately impacts people very negatively.
Oh,
And so I'm
yeah.
such a big advocate, like whatever you need to do to make yourself feel peace, you do that. And so if that's something you needed to do, not just for yourself and to be more, feeling like this is part of who you are, but also just give yourself some peace, definitely glad you was able to do that. And so this leads me to my question with regards to, we mentioned COVID has been such a, we hoped it was going to be a couple of months. We're now in like year 3 or so of all of this. And so what are things you do to kind of give yourself like self-care? I feel like that's always like work hard, but also give yourself time to kind of let things go. So what are some things that you do that's like a self-care moment for yourself?
So people will actually be shocked by this because I'm a very outgoing, outspoken person. I love just quietly reading and just listening to calming music. That always helps me. Or even if it's just as actually this is gonna be funny, as I'm literally sitting here with my cat on my lap, I'll just be cuddling my cats. Like one of my cats is my in a way my emotional support animal. So like even with things like this, I get anxious. So that's why he's currently sitting on my lap. But I do that. I spend time with my friends, my husband. We like to go out a lot and just go out and have some fun. We hang out with our wrestling family. But things I do for myself would be like the reading. I sometimes play video games. I love watching movies and just listening to music or even just driving around. And it always helps my anxiety.
That's great. I'm a big reader as well. Probably not as much recently because I've been way too busy. But who are some of your like favorite authors or books to read?
So my thing is I don't really go by author. I'm more of like a genre kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love horror stories. I love like the romance stories, especially like anything paranormal. So anything that's like out of the ordinary, things that are like strange, like as my nickname is, I'm literally strange and unusual. That's what grabs my attention. So anything that's like horror, romance, funny, things like that. So long as it grabs my attention in the first chapter, then
Mm-hmm.
I'll keep going. But if it's not going to grab my attention in the first chapter, I'm just like, nope, on to the next one.
That's so cool that you like horror books. That's literally my favorite genre as well. I love a good horror story. I like a good romance story too, but I write romance, and so it's like trying to keep it nice, but then it's like people should die or something like that. And so it's like one day I'll get that horror book written. But so awesome that you like horror. It's always like every time I tell people that, they always seem like surprised. I'm like, listen, I like a good book that's kind of unsettling and creepy. So totally on that one. I feel like it's always good to have things that's a bit unsettling as a
Yeah.
reader. So, is there anybody you haven't stepped into a wrestling ring with that you would love to take on one on one?
I actually came out with a list and I posted it the new year. But the first person that comes to mind, even though she's about to go on maternity leave, is Sue Young. And I've known her for a long time and we have yet to share the ring together. So once she's back in action and stuff like that, I hope to step in the ring with her one day. I'm trying to think of who else. Kennedy Copeland. Even though hardcore is not really my style, I would so do it because she just seems like that person that would make sure that things go the way they're supposed to.
Uh-huh.
I shared the ring once with this person, but it was a rumble, so I don't know if it technically counts, but Masha Slamovich.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Oh my gosh, I love her. I shared the ring with her in an all-women's battle royal at Victory Pro Wrestling. And that was one of the hardest chops that I've ever gotten from somebody. And we just went on a chop off, and I was like, this is just way too fun.
Yeah, she's super badass. I absolutely think she's like so amazing as well. So
Oh
that
yeah,
was really cool.
I'm so happy for her with how far she's come, especially with now being on Impact. Like, she is such a great person in and out of the ring.
Yeah.
So is Sue Young. I mean, yeah, you watch her promos and she's creepy as hell, but I feel like that's what got us close.
Yeah.
Was just having fun and being crazy and being okay to be our crazy selves.
Yeah, I think those would be great matches. They were all like really great like wrestlers as well. And so again, I always like different things to kind of mix in the ring for me because I'm also a bit weird, but you know.
Everybody's weird in some way, shape, or form. Just there are people that are like, oh no, you should be normal. Nobody is normal.
Yeah,
if you think you're normal, if you think you're normal, then you are just a miserable person.
That's so true. I definitely I have to embrace my weirdness. Like I'm a weird to an extent. I know this and I accept this now, you know, kind of hide that when you're younger. But now it's like, nah, I know I'm weird. There are a lot of things I do too, like why did you do it? You know, I like it though. So you said you like playing video games, and I believe you have a Twitch as well, right?
Yes, I do.
So what are some of your favorite games to play and like some of your favorite games to stream?
So I haven't streamed in a hot minute, but I was streaming. The last game I was streaming was the new Resident Evil Village, which, oh my gosh, I love that game.
Yeah,
I love Resident Evil 7 and 8. The Last of Us series, which I really hope they announce something with number 3 soon. Like that is the one movie, oh my god, the one video game series that actually made me cry. Like the second game, which by the way, spoiler alert, sorry. Actually, let me try and word this without spoiling it. When a certain event happened in the game, and with one of my favorite characters, I had to stop the game for a good 45 minutes because I was just bawling. Because this character, it was just like, first off, why? Secondly, the way the death happened, why? And I was just so angry. Like my husband actually recorded my reaction because he knew what happened and didn't tell me. And I was just so angry. But it's games like that. Like I love storyline based games, especially the horror genre, like we talked about, like Evil Within, The Last of Us, Resident Evil. And then the game I've been playing right now, I actually play along with my husband Lawrence and a few of our other wrestling friends. We always play Call of Duty.
Oh, nice.
So we always play the group games like Resurgence, Plunder, all that stuff. And we've been streaming that lately. Like we were just streaming last night on my husband's account. And it's just us just having fun. And like we'll banter with fans when they come on. But we just make it fun.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, yeah, we wrestle and we're badasses in the ring, but at the same time, we're still people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love storyline games.
Same. I mean, I know game is probably, I'm not a gamer. I want to call myself a gamer, like a game, but it's not like consistent enough. I know when I played The Last of Us, the first one, just like that first 10 minutes, I was crying. And so it took me a week.
Oh my God, Sarah.
Yeah. My friend was laughing at me because I was like, so 5 minutes and nobody told me this and I'm now crying. And so they were laughing. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm a big crybaby. I cry about everything. And so it happened. And I literally took like a week to get back on. Because
oh my God. We went into that game blind. We went into that game blind.
So I was like, Katrina, get it together. Because like really, it's probably going to get a lot worse. But like first 5 minutes.
So wait, did you get to the second game?
No, I haven't. Like, I know what happens because I was.
Okay, so you understand why I was upset.
But so I do. Yes, I understand why. So when I do play it, I'm probably gonna still cry, knowing that I know what happened already. I'm gonna probably still cry because I'm such a crybaby. I cry about everything.
Well, like
And the same thing, like even within. One of
Oh
my
my
favorite
God.
games of all time, and I'm like, I will argue anybody. Like, listen, this is an amazing game. I love the story, love the premise, and definitely my kind of game. I like horror story games. Like,
Oh my God,
shooting is
yeah,
fine.
like
I like the shooting.
with Resident Evil 7, my husband decided to be a jerk and he goes, "Oh, I got these surround sound headphones." So he has me wear them, and it's the part where you're being chased by Papa, and all I hear is him just everywhere, and he decided to add fuel to the fire and make the room dark. So all I'm hearing is if he's behind me, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta hide from this guy. And just it made it worse with the surround sound. And then even the same thing with The Last of Us, because my favorite zombie out of that whole thing is the clickers. I have no idea why, but I like that they're challenging, and you can do you have to have such good accuracy with them. But just like you hear them behind you on the surround sound headphones, and I'm just like, get me out of here.
I feel like now I should get a pair of surround sound headphones. I feel like just to see if that would
Oh
change
my God, it makes it so much fun.
Yeah, I have to get back to gaming. I know the last game I tried to play was Uncharted, and then there was this moment I had to jump over a mountain and I died a couple of times. I was like, all right, I'll be back. And then I haven't went back, and I'm like, okay, I totally suck because I said I'll give myself like a day and come back. I never went back. It's been months, so I probably should get back on that.
Oh my God, no, wait till you do Resident Evil 7 and 8. You have to do those together. And I was just blown away because the fact that it's like, okay, these games actually go together. And then I was like, wait a minute, that's how Resident Evil usually does it in the first place.
Yeah.
But they already hinted at the next game, and I'm just like, okay, I need it like today.
That's like the worst part is when you love a game and then you have to wait till the next one. You're like, all right, guys, like speed this up. Kind of like I feel about
but then you're just that person where you're like, okay, I'm gonna play the next level and just die the entire time. Because we actually finished Resident Evil the day it came out, and we went in completely blind. We literally went until like 2:00 in the morning. And it was just such a good game. And me and my husband look at each other, we're like, you want to go again? But it's games like that just grab your attention. It's like the same thing in wrestling. It's the stories.
Yeah.
The storylines just grab your attention. And it just draws you in.
I definitely agree. That's one of the reasons why I love Shawn Michaels so much. Is like he's always so like, for me, he was the person that kind of introduced me into wrestling. So I was like, oh, he's so cool. He's so like entertaining, and you just kind of want to know, like he's so cocky and conceited, but it works, and so you're not so annoyed by it, but you want to see what he does next. So it was that
exactly. He pisses you off so much, but you're just wanting more.
Yeah. So now I need to know, since you mentioned like as far as wrestling and like being involved to the point where you kind of want to know what happens next. Who is a wrestler of yours that was just always somebody you kind of always had to watch, no matter what the storyline was?
So old wise, like I'm talking when I was a kid, would be Lita and the Hardy Boys when they were a thing. I'll even say it. I do the Lita style DDT to paying homage to her, because when I was a kid and I saw her, I grew up, my mother always wanted me to be the girly girl wearing dresses and pink and all that, and just it wasn't me. But then when I see her, I just remember being a kid and I was begging my parents. I was like, I really want pants like hers. And just, I wanted the long red hair. I wanted to, like, in a way, it was like I wanted to be her, because it's like that's how I felt.
Yeah.
And she was just an inspiration, and was also showing you don't have to be a girly girl in the business. you can be who you want to be. And the fact that she's coming back for the Rumble, I am so excited about that. And then I grew up also with like Eddie Guerrero, which he always made me laugh.
Yes.
And what's funny is I had a family member that looked very close to him. So we used to make the joke and we used to be like, oh, hey, Uncle Richie's on TV. and just he was always so funny and goofy. Even when he was a heel, it just drew you in.
Very true.
So that was a big one. And then I grew up with, this is like going back to when I was like 5 years old. So this is like 23 years ago, watching Mankind with Sacco and Doink the Clown. And those were actually the two wrestlers that I met when I was 5 years old. It was my first ever meet and greet. And I was terrified because I'm like, I see these people on TV and I'm like, oh God, they're in front of me. And there's like 5-year-old little me. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. And he actually, Mankind actually let me hold Sacco because he saw how scared I was. And just, that was just such a memorable moment. And then I met the original Doink the Clown. And I was terrified to go up to him because of just, he was in full gimmick with the clown makeup. And I was just like, I want nothing to do with this guy. But then what's so funny is years later, when I started dating my husband, Mick Foley ended up coming back into my life, meeting him at shows and stuff like that. And I actually brought up to him the meet and greet. And he's like, around when was this? I told him the year. And he goes, where was it? And I told him, he goes, that was the Freehold Mall. And I was like, I didn't even say where, but yeah, that was it.
Oh, that's so cool.
and he's remembered me a few times, and it means a lot when like you see these legends and you get to have conversations with them, get their advice from them. Like recently I met Ron Simmons, and I didn't even know that he watched my match. I thought he was in the back. But I had gone outside because it was very hot in the venue. Yeah. And I had just gotten done. I had a match with Adina Steele. And I knew he was there, but just I didn't get to interact just yet because I was paying more attention to the match. And I go outside and he comes out the door and he's like, you. I was like, what'd I do? And he's like, that match was awesome. Yeah, it had hiccups, but you were able to fix it and all that. And we just started talking. We were sitting together for a good 45 minutes just talking. And it just meant a lot. And I was just like, I grew up watching these people.
Yeah.
And now they actually watched me.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, if little kid me could see me now.
Yeah,
so those are some names that I grew up with.
Yeah, Lita was definitely my favorite heel, and that was exactly the reason. Like, I did like pink, but I didn't wear it. I was definitely not girly. I was just like jeans, sweatpants kind of girl. Didn't really like dresses, and so she was one of the people I gravitated to because she was so different. And Jeff Hardy was my guy. I loved him. So when I got to meet him in person, I started crying, and I'm like, you have no idea. Like, I couldn't even talk properly.
Oh my gosh. That was me when I actually got to go to the Women's Evolution pay-per-view.
Nice.
And when it was the Lita and Trish Stratus tag team match,
yeah,
I straight up cried. I straight up marked out. I did not care. I was like, I'm finally seeing my inspirations in front of me. Like finally seeing that in person.
Yeah.
And I'm just watching the whole match, and I was just like, oh, my God.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel like just anytime I've ever met a wrestler that I like was a fan. Like, I got to meet Lita as well. I didn't cry for her, but I was like really awestruck. Like, oh my God, you're standing right in front of me. But Jeff, I definitely cried. And then he was like, I have like these like crazy pants on. He's like, your pants are cool. And so when he said that, I started crying about that. Like, My pants are cool. There was no need to cry, but I was crying, and so it's just like he's honestly one of the reasons I started writing. And I told people it's like I used to write like fan fiction, and so I wrote Jeff Hardy fan fiction. So he's honestly the reason I'm a writer, and so it's like such a for me it was like full circle. Like oh my god, I'm meeting the person who I obsessed over and probably drove my mom insane. But you know,
I think Jeff Hardy was that person that made every freaking kid go insane, and they're like Hot Topic was running out of trip pants because of that dude.
Oh no, it was bad. My obsession with him was a little bad. I was like, start thinking about it. I was like, no, I cried about like every little thing he needed to be done. I had to watch it. I had to have it. Had to have all his shirts. It was bad. And so I'm like, you know what? It's fine now. But it was like I know my mother was like, oh damn, Katrina, stop. It was so bad.
I love
so
it.
So we are going to do a quick like speed round of questions. I'm gonna ask you something. You tell me the first thing that pops in your head to like switch it up a bit.
Got it.
So. Are you a night person or a morning person?
Night.
Nice. Okay. Last show you binged watch?
Oh, jeez. What did I just watch? Lock and Key.
Oh, nice. That's a pretty good show. Last song you had on repeat?
Oh my god. I'm gonna sound like such a total loser right now. It's because of TikTok, and I'm sorry. It's We Don't Talk About Bruno.
Listen, that is an amazing song for me.
I love that song. That's one thing people learn about me. I'm such a Disney nerd. But my other song would be right now. What was I playing? It's called Rich Boy by Peyton. I just love the beat to that song.
Favorite go-to snack no matter what?
Chips Ahoy Chewy cookies.
Oh, love those.
That was easy.
Favorite movie of all time?
Oh my god. Horror movie House of a Thousand Corpses.
Nice. Pretty solid movie.
Disney Aladdin.
Oh god! Oh listen, we're about to be like so best friends right now.
I am so down.
Like you have so many things. I'm like, oh my god,
I love this. Okay, and then comedy wise, Beetlejuice.
Yes. Oh my god, that's one of my favorite movies. I have to watch like in October, particularly like
that and Hocus Pocus.
Yes. Listen, we're about to be like so best friends right now.
I am so down.
We have so many things in common. It's like yay! Like my heart is so like happy right now.
I love it.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
Time travel.
Nice. Why is that?
Because I've just always wanted to look back, like not obviously change, like not change anything, but like I've always been like a big historic freak.
Yep.
And especially with like going back to the paranormal thing, like I've always wanted to go to like Transylvania and Romania and stuff like that. So I would travel back to the supposed Dracula vampire era, or the Salem witch trials would be an interesting one to go to. I would just want to learn more.
Oh, nice. I love that answer. Cool. If you were in a burning building and you can only take 3 things, what 3 things would you take?
My cats, because I have 2. I would save my husband. What would be a 3rd thing? Only because I have roommates, I would save my roommate.
Okay. And last one. If you were stuck on an island and you only could bring 3 things with you on the island, and that is what you have for the rest of the time you were there, what 3 things would you bring?
My husband? Sunscreen, because I burn like hell. Some sort of food supply.
listen, be somewhat entertained and have food. It's always a good
Exactly.
good balance. So I wanted to give you the floor to mention anything you would like to promote or anything you have coming up.
Oh geez, I gotta pull up the list. So you can check me and my husband out on LTW Wrestling, which is Lock Target Wrestling. We're also on Grimm's Toy Show, GTS. I have a show coming up with ACPW. Oh, sorry, AFCW, March 6th. And then March 19th, I have a show. Oh my God, why am I blanking? I hate being on the spot.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to find the freaking poster right now. I believe it was like Charlie's Soiree. I'm in a battle royal for, with Eddie McQueen.
Oh, nice.
I mean, that's about it so far. We just had to reschedule LTW, so hopefully that date will come out soon.
Okay.
Because I need my number one contendership. I'm going for that LTW women's belt.
Listen, it's all in the bag, okay? I'm manifesting that's going to be your belt. So.
Yeah, I'll be two-time champ.
Yes, all for getting the championship belt.
Exactly.
So, I want to thank you again so much for coming on and chatting with me. Like I said, we're still about to be best friends because we legit have so much in common. It's my heart was every time you said something else, I'm like, oh my God, meet you.
Hey, listen, I know. Just don't piss me off.
So we were so about to be friends off that alone. Just we have a lot in common, very much similar with the things we like. So that's super awesome. I will have everything that was just said in the description. So please go support, check it out. If there's merch, please go buy and support Eris and her husband Lawrence. You gotta support them both, show them lots of love. And again, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was. Until next time, guys, I will catch you later. Bye.